Jonathan Peck writes, could The Big Short be a major Oscar contender?
It will be a contender in a lot of different categories. A major Oscar contender, as in like a front runners, I don't think so.
I think if major Oscar contender means something that gets a lot of nominations, then yes, it could be. But as far as winning them, there's just so much out there. Even when we were talking about when you look at that director category and all those things that fit into these categories, there's just so much this year. So I don't know.
After that soliloquy I just gave, yeah, it should totally be an Oscar contender. You know the problem with this is, though, is that I think that it's getting put up against Spotlight in a lot of people's minds because it's about a true life event that happened fairly recently with a great ensemble cast, and it seems like Spotlight is getting ahead of The Big Short in that regard, but you should not overlook The Big Short.
All right, what's next?
Craig Dice writes, besides Star Wars, what are your favorite robots in movies?
Oh, famous robots in movies. I would have to think about that. I can't pull a lot off the top of my head.
I'll just go.
Come on, man. Terminator.
Yeah, Terminator's a great one.
Terminator's a great one.
RoboCop is half man, half machine, all cop.
I'll go Iron Giant.
Oh, that's a great one.
Wall-E.
Boom. Oh, look at Ellis's face. Look at Ellis.
Yes.
The trash compactor.
I love Wall-E.
You know the answer is not Johnny Five. That is the most annoying robot in the history of robots on screen.
That's why you hate Wall-E.
No. You know why? Rocky IV. That's the robot you want because it brings you beer.
All right, what's next?
Jake Silva writes, Steven Spielberg has lost his touch. What do you think?
You're an idiot.
Wow.
Rough.
Sorry,
that's a rough one.
I see. I don't know if I'd go so far as idiot status, but I would say that I don't agree with it. I think that I understand as far as the him producing, he's throwing his name on a lot of stuff, and even with Bridge of Spies, didn't seem like that was the Spielberg that we knew. But Spielberg is one of the best, if not the best of all time. He hasn't lost anything.
Yeah, I mean, you want to say that because of Bridge of Spies, which it felt like it lacked touch in a lot of ways, but Spielberg also very recently made me fall in love with a horse in World War I and Abraham Lincoln before that. And I think if you haven't, whoever wrote that, if you haven't seen the teaser for the BFG, like we just talked about, check that out, then come back and report to it.
Okay, so the last number of films that Steven Spielberg has done, Bridge of Spies, which is a very good film, but it was not as good as it could have been.
Right.
But I think everybody pretty much across the board. It's a very good film. That's Steven Spielberg's Bad Day at the Office, a very good film that isn't going to win an Academy Award. That's his Bad Day at the Office. These are the last few ones he's done. War Horse, nominated for Best Picture of the Year. The Adventures of Tintin, a really underrated film that a lot of people love that movie. Then before Adventures of Tintin, you had, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. That's the one where I'll say
that's the real Bad Day at the Office.
That's a real Bad Day. But then he had Munich, nominated for Best Film at the Oscars. War of the Worlds, which is really good. The Terminal, which a lot of people love. Catch Me If You Can, which was brilliant. Minority Report, which is brilliant. Where do we go? Then Saving Private Ryan. Amistad, which I think is his best film, is actually Amistad. I mean,
wow, really?
I think Amistad is his best film.
Was there a shark attack in that boat?
Yes, there was. No.
Really? I was going to say, that's in there, really?
Yeah, Jaws. Then you go to the old stuff, Jaws, E.T., but that's just in the last 10 years, those films. I mean, so has he lost his touch? Are you kidding me? That's just ridiculous. It's like going back like 15 or 20 years, seeing Michael Jordan shoot in one game, gets 22 points. Saying, oh, Michael Jordan's lost it. What, are you kidding? Last game he scored 81. What are you talking? Like, it's a ridiculous
I think
notion.
that you can understand maybe also why maybe the question being asked is he, like you said, the last couple movies he's done, there hasn't been a lot. I mean, you look at someone like Clint Eastwood, who puts out like 2 a year, right? As where Spielberg does like one every like 2 or 3 years. So I think that you start to forget of how great he is because you don't see his movies. And like John's saying, when his movies come out, even Bridge of Spies, it doesn't stink. The only one that I personally think stinks is Crystal Skull. But other
out
than
of the 40 films he's
1944.
Not a huge fan of 1942, but I think maybe the reason why the question is fair to at least pose in a bar before you might get punched out is the movies that he's done that have been really good the last few years. Bridge of Spies was good. War Horse was great. Okay, Lincoln was great. But those aren't necessarily movies you think of when you think of Steven Spielberg, who started out with bigger, blockbustery kind of family movies like in E.T., like Indiana Jones. So people want to see him go back to making a huge spectacle film like he crushed with Jurassic Park or Jaws or Close Encounters of the Third Kind. So when is he going to make another movie like that? Could it be the BFG? I really hope so.
It's the other one. It's the Ready Player One. That's what he's going to come back and do. I think it's
that's
going to be
got a
great
lot of people
because that's
excited,
what
too.
he'll do, man. He'll do Ready Player One, and then he'll do something like The Bridge of Spies, or even when he used to have War of the Worlds, Schindler's List. He's such a great filmmaker. He can do both those tones. There are not a lot of directors that can do that.
There's a reason why Steven Spielberg is the one director, I should say, in Hollywood all the other directors go to. There's a reason why whenever J.J. Abrams has an idea about something, the first thing he does is he goes and sits in Steven Spielberg's office. When you're that guy that other directors go and seek out, I mean, you're the man.
Colin Trevorrow told us that for the whole, you hear a lot of times someone's a producer on the film, they're collecting checks. Colin Trevorrow told Mark and myself that Spielberg was like the producer. He would call Spielberg every day to go over what was going on, and they had conversations back and forth. His door was open to get the ideas and the feel of the first one. He was very involved.
Yeah, Jacob, did we answer your question?
All right, let's take 2 more quick questions.
All right, Amar Al-Ahdal writes, did any of you guys see Macbeth? If so, how was it?
I have the screener in my car. It's right out there.
Yeah,
it's right out there.
It's awesome.
It's
okay, really
good,
awesome.
good,
it's not gonna and most people aren't gonna see it, but it's pretty fantastic.
Is it the classic Shakespearean dialogue? Like, did they change the lines, or did the actual lines?
It's
Macbeth. I heard it's more brutal than you might.
It is far more visceral than you would expect. Like you hear Macbeth, and if you know Macbeth, you know there's elements of that, but you kind of think it's a Hollywood version of it. It's going to be that it's visceral, it's brutal. And you're gonna love it.
Wow.
And it'll give you. Remember, this is the same actor, actress, and director combo. Actor, actress, and director that are also going to be doing Assassin's Creed. And when you watch them doing Macbeth, you're gonna have a lot of damn hope for Assassin's Creed.
That's what I was gonna ask. Yeah.
All right, what's the last question of the day?
Jon writes, what are your favorite lawyer movies? Mine is Lady in Gold and Find Me Guilty.
Yeah, Find Me Guilty is great. That's a great call.
Time to Kill.
Time to Kill is really great. I really like The Lincoln Lawyer.
Lincoln Lawyer was really
Started
good.
the
Underrated.
Renaissance.
It really did. It
started the
the
I think the greatest lawyer movie of all time, with all due respect to Kill a Mockingbird,
Scent of a Woman?
phenomenal job. Scent of a Woman is not. I've never seen Scent of a Woman.
Oh,
Add that
that's
to
the one.
list.
That's the one.
best lawyer movie, in my opinion. My favorite one, endlessly rewatchable. A Few Good Men.
I was about to say,
Beat it.
Dennis and Wendy and I were just having lunch the other day, and A Few Good Men was on the TV. It was
I might have been there with you guys, and that's why I remember
Tom
it.
I got
Cruise
one.
one.
I got one. Liar, liar.
I love Liar Liar.
I'm in the dark here. You understand?
Hey guys, if you like this clip, click here to watch the entire episode. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel because it'll help you stay up to date with all the stuff we've got going on here at Collider.